Well, hello, good morning. It's your old mate, Dave Spencer, back with you once again, off on another one of our transport adventures, and this time we're up in Penrith in Cumbria, where our spot by the fire station there is virtually unchanged. So what all the business was about it was being changed and going to run the road through the middle of the roundabout, etc., has either sort of been pushed to one side, and or of course it's yet to come. I can see plenty of roadworks and things happening on the motorway, and also down on the road here, which takes you down to Sept direction. Anyway, whatever, we have another chance, another bite of the cherry, and one of our favourite routes over the country is the A66 from the northeast over to the northwest. There's not many routes go over, you know, and we always see some nice wagons on this road. So without further ado, I'll crack on, and you know, what are we going to see? Yes, we shall see what we shall see. Gorgeous blue sky, not a cloud in the sky, none forecast, temperature a little bit low, about 1 degree at the moment up here in Cumbria. Of course, down in balmy Cheshire it was 3 degrees. Anyway, I'll see you later. Hope you enjoy it, and ta-ra for now. I think the tide's turned. There's now more coming this way than the other side. Many routes are sort of tidal like that. M6 motorway near us, very much like that. Well, I guess it has died down a little bit for lunchtime. It's 1:15 now on this rather glorious day in April 2025. Normally there's some people tumbling out of the fire station to go and have a sit in the gardens. As I say, it's just the heat really that's coming from the sun. At night it plummets down to freezing again. But I think it's coming to an end. It does, isn't it? Anything like that's going to come to an end. In Britain, you know. I wish people wouldn't do that. Ride up on a bicycle and then suddenly shout something at you. It's nonsensical. It just frightens the life out of you. What's happening? You're about to be attacked, robbed, both. Mind you, of course, everybody thinks they're a comedian, but there are precious few comedians about these days. Good ones. And no idea of comedy now. All you do is sort of stand there and shout and swear. And that's supposed to be comedy. No wonder so many of the old comedies find space on television. Although the trouble is, so many are judged to be not politically correct now. Many of us of a certain age, of course, that is politically correct. It was correct in the age we were born into, and I don't think we want anything to do with this political correctness. As I often say at the end of our programmes, we're living through difficult times. It really are absolutely balmy times. We've got one of the strangest Prime Ministers ever. Mr Grey doesn't really suit. It's devoid of any emotion whatsoever. And we've got an equally bizarre person over the other side of the pond, as they say, over in the United States. We've got a guy called Trump, who trumpets, who likes the sound of his own voice. Yeah.
The bloke has gone past with a motor around his bicycle.
Have a nice sit down there in the sun. Old fellow there, he stopped and had a little chat, but I hadn't got a clue what he was saying. Many of the best liveries tend to be on Scottish or Irish wagons. I must admit there are not a lot of things I like about Scotland. I was saying before, yeah, we are living through some pretty difficult times. And people's savings, pension plans, etc. tumbling as the stock markets crash for the fourth time, really. 3 times in recent history. A couple of times perhaps back in the 30s. When they can, they suspend the stock markets when they know something really bad's going to happen. So this time it's, well, I don't know, it's going to happen all the time. It's a nice little convoy, wasn't it? Some lovely vehicles there. Well, tally-ho, and we're off. The old still camera ready as well. Anyway, the old couple there, they're sitting down on the roof for a sandwich. What age do I think they are? They're probably younger than me, actually. If you stop working, that's what happens. You got to keep going. Got to keep the old grey matter working. That's what it's about. And if your legs give out, well, do something you can do sitting down, or use your arms. And when your arms are gone, use your teeth in your mouth. There's just enough breeze to flutter the Union Jack, or the Union flag if you're pedantic. But you know, the other day we was doing on a do down in Detley, and it's a bus do mainly. There's a few guys around, and somebody I've known for quite a long time, a bit, you know, an acquaintance, as we could say. But who does your covers? This is for the DVD. Oh, everything gets all my work. It's always got the flag up somewhere. There's on a couple of editions somewhere, but I think I've probably resized it. And when you're resizing it, sort of pulling it, it makes it sort of go back to front. And with a flag, it doesn't always stand out. Obviously, it does with writing. And yeah, there's no big issue out of it. And then I said, are you still travelling? I am. Some people are not. My travelling companions have all packed in going on the sort of trips I go on. All right, go at me. You know, about age and being able to travel. Yeah, no, I'll keep going. What? So my other friends keep going. Our neighbours, nearly 100, they keep going. It's just a question, isn't it? I know I may make mistakes. I don't worry too much about it. Well, they didn't sit down there for long for the couple, did they? No, that's just time to have their sandwich. I can see what he's doing. Yes, he's going to play archery or something. Well, they have a thing, it's like a bow to me. Bow and arrows or something. Funny shape. Bit big bow, isn't it? I do know what it is really. Yeah, I know what it is. So what is it then, Dave? Well, it's one of them things, and you sort of take it down the seaside and, I don't know, lay it there and sort of try and pull the girls or something with it. So look, I've got a bit of plank here. Yes, this is a very, very nice afternoon. It's one of those all's well with the world, even when it's not. You think, well, this is nice. Just enjoy what we've got, even when it's hidden behind tents. Yeah, this year, even April Fool's Day was a bit of a non-event, because all everybody had to do was say, but we've got the biggest joke going in charge of the country. I thought, well, it seems as though it's a qualification for being in charge of the country, you know, being a bit of a joke. I always like a nice shot of a bus behind a breakdown wagon. It sort of catches both my sort of viewerships, the bus and the truck people equally. And what a chance here. It's even got the, it's a 24 reg. The new livery. Sometimes you get responses to things that you put on YouTube. I don't really make a point of reading them. No time for doing that sort of thing. But sometimes something sort of catches your eye, and somebody had objected to making comments about Plymouth, and I was out there, they were tearing it up and spending loads of money on the centre, pouring concrete everywhere. They're doing the same now over in something else, Bradford, and it declared it sort of the world centre of heritage or something. But, you know, is that achieved with a pile of cement, concrete? We carry on paving over it, building houses, more cars, more bicycle things. We won't have any grass or nature left, will we? And where are all the people coming from to live in all these houses? We have to ask that, because, you know, it wasn't that long ago, our population in Britain, about 20, 30 years ago, it was falling, and we were worried that there'd be nobody there to pay taxes and insurance, which would go towards keeping all the older people now they were living to greater ages. Now we've got a soaring population, and yet where did it all come from? You can't say where, can you? No, but you're not allowed to say anything because you've got no freedom of speech. We've got no constitution, we've got no rights. We've got a barrack room lawyer in charge of the country at the moment. If you think what we got's bad, try having what the other people have got. Well, they've had some crackers in Scotland and Wales, Northern Ireland. Oh, yeah, honestly, they make our scene wonderful. Committed, sort of, you know, intent on making the world a better place when you compare them. But when I went over to Mexico a few times, you know, if you look at things there, how they deal with stuff, they try to make compromises and come to a deal all the time, because then it brings peace and harmony between people. And it's like the policemen or the army, if nobody's shooting at them, and, you know, if they're smiling, well, wow, they're your best buddy, you know, because if they're not doing horrible to you, they must at least be okay, even if they're not your best buddy. Well, I've stood at roundabouts and all sorts of places in the world. Which ones come to mind? Oh, a lovely one in Colombia. I remember that. It's so brilliant there. Loads and loads of old wagons coming around. All old American ones, but where else have you stood at a roundabout? Well, not everybody has roundabouts, of course. That limits it. There's lots of roundabouts I like. I like, there's a nice one up in Scotland when you go up, and that's quite scenic in the background. Some places are just plain miserable. Current top of my places I wouldn't want to go back, I suppose, is Belgium, definitely Egypt, Syria, and a heap of places in England, Britain, and regular viewers will know Loughborough has pretty high awareness for me of places not to go. I don't know how you sort of go on if you're actually born there. What a place! It's nothing to do with places being rich or poor, you know. I mean, some of them can be absolutely bonkers. In Tunbridge Wells, I was there recently, but they are a bit peculiar, aren't they? You must admit, the people there. But a nice mix of buses and Carlisle was a bit of a strange place, but I suppose you could say Cumbria is as well. I must say, it sort of made my day to find that the roundabout is still as was. So I don't know what all the signs and things were at the time, but perhaps the finances didn't stretch to doing whatever it is that they wanted to do. Most of the day will be the other side of the roundabout, but to start off with, the sun's better with everything over this way. I was in Senegal a year ago, just over a year ago. That was a strange place as well. Yeah, oh dear. If you think your own country's bad, there's always worse. What about all the places you daren't go? And the places they mess up, like Malta and Cyprus. Cyprus is, oh, that's one my list of don't go to. Avoid at all costs. Yeah, police stopped me and said, you can't go around taking pictures and filming lorries. Tourists can only go to the beach areas. Told that. Oh dear. What it is they hung their hat on the peg marked Russia. They invested heavily in getting them to come in and invest heavily in Cyprus, and then of course the Russians did what they did in Ukraine, and the EU sort of stopped direct travel between Russia and countries in the EU, although there are plenty of ways of getting around it. You can go on Turkish Airlines, you can actually go on Emirates. Did you know that? You can even go to Kaliningrad on Emirates. I didn't know that. I was sat next to a Russian guy who was a lovely chap, and he was working down in Australia and Papua New Guinea. He's been out there for years. He was a marine engineer. And he said, oh, he said he lives in Kaliningrad. I said, oh, I've been there. I've done all the film, the trams and the trolley buses there. He was quite impressed. I knew its history, Königsberg, etc. I would imagine the next lorries I film after today will be in Bangladesh. And then we've got the English ones who slow down in the car, lean out the windows and all sort of wave and shout and whatever. You think, what's it about? I mean, I've got a camera, a video and a little still camera. I mean, hasn't every kid in the country got one of those phone computery things that is a camera as well? I've got one. Manny got one from it. I can't do with it. I've tried to take pictures, but then you can't download it. Anyway, just enjoy this nice load. Well, I would say things have picked up again. We've got the post-lunchtime perambulations going on. The wagons are coming out and they've got one last drop to do before their day is done. We travel all over the world to bring you all sorts of transport, particularly trucks and buses. bit different, wasn't it? Yes. Electric stagecoach being delivered. Of course, there's also the countries that have got no sense of humour. I think top of which, top of the league's probably Australia. Oh dear, they've got a serious problem. A distinct lack of a sense of humour. You couldn't have a wind up there, they'd end up sort of doing each other in. We've got lots of relations and friends in New Zealand, but that takes a bit of beating sometimes on some of the things there. I think nanny state is a bit too much there. People used to be sort of self-reliant and known for their ability to get on and do things and didn't need a state to back them, and they could sort things out themselves. It seemed to be the New Zealand way. Now, oh gosh, the government has dipped into everything. Oh yes, I've had the police stop me there because I've taken pictures of lorries. So what's the problem? Well, somebody rang up and they were very concerned. And then I had somebody actually at the Uttoxeter roundabout on the A50. They did the same, they rang the police. I had Staffordshire's best turned out. He said, we have to respond to every call. And I said, look, somebody says they've seen somebody and they think they're waving at the traffic. Is that a look? Is that against the... No, but we've got to investigate. I thought, if I was a taxpayer in Staffordshire, I'd want to know why the police are getting funded so much money that they've got time to mess about with daft things like that. I'd scrap at least 70 or 80%, getting like Trump and on now. Well, he's got an idea. See, the trouble is, it's how you put the ideas over. But some of them are very good ideas. I mean, personally, rather than bunging loads of tax on everything, I would just get rid of it. Why? Just stop doing tax on things. And get people to pay for what they want. Our council did that with us. And they started to, oh, we'll start charging you for taking all your garden rubbish away. Well, that's fair enough, actually. So I sort of said to them, I said to our council, I said, yeah, that's great. Look, we haven't got kids, so obviously you're going to be knocking the education percentage of our sort of rates and that off. Oh no. I said, well, the police, they never come if you have a problem. They cause more problems than they solve. So I'll get a private company to patrol our road. The police don't do it. Now you can knock that percentage off. And so it went on. But they won't do any of that. They said, oh no, that's not how it works. I said, it does in my book, mate. When you want to start cherry picking about what you want to provide and what you don't want to provide, because we were given this over many years and told this is what you get. So it's like a compact with people, isn't it? An agreement. And you understand that you pay and they provide X, Y and Z. And now it's time to pay the bills on their part. Oh dear, heavens above, they haven't got any money. Well, they spent it on. Yes, we're back there, aren't we? We're back to Plymouth and we're back to Bradford. We're back to the National Health Service. And, you know, people work their plonkers off, don't they, there? Working for the NHS, all the work, the great things they did during the pandemic. But, you know, it just shows you how many managers they've got and how many bureaucrats there are and how ridiculously sourced things are. So anything that's sort of like of great importance surgically is likely to be sort of been filming here for many decades. I used to be driving up the M6 and across to the northeast for work. Of course, in those days I didn't really have a choice about which day I went. It was the day I needed to come over, but I used to enjoy it then, and I enjoy it now. Seen a good few tractors, haven't we? Alright, they're all busy today, the farmers. It's been dry now for 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, drought rears its head, of course. Yeah, we haven't had enough water last year. This time last year we had too much of the stuff. After rallies with washouts, Truckfest and Detling Rally, one after another, the things were disrupted. Showbus at its new location absolutely wrecked through the land. Somebody said, oh no, it'll be alright, and I don't know who told them it'll be alright. Didn't know much, did they? It was a bit rotten really, wasn't it, for the people doing something the first time, taken over, and then they copped all the awful weather. Well, at least we've got plenty of wagons around to make the time go. always get a nice assortment of lorries here. Jenkinson's, all things of trees and wood, eh? And of course they've got a place, well, there's a place here, it's a truck stop shared between Jenkinson and Stobart, so I'm not really quite sure what's happened to that since Stobart's were taken over, along with lots of other companies, into the giant Cullinar empire. Well, all I've got to do is point the camera at the lorries today, and we don't really have to worry about exposures, etc. Let the old automatic settings at speed and exposure sort themselves out, and Bob's your uncle. Charlie's your aunt. Ah, there's the old lads on their way. Of course, is it time for Appleby yet? No, I don't think so. Well, this pulse of traffic's not going to provide many rich pickings for the trucks, but pleasant enough where it was. And we're already building up for the next change of lanes. Jenkinson's actually universally friendly, always are, wherever you are in the country, and I guess they must all know us. And after our appearance on Channel 5 at the Mostway Hotel programme, although it included precious little of all the much Great Mountain material they recorded, I think it set the tone quite nicely, and it was quite humorous without taking the mick too much. Traffic building up for the morning rush hour. Do they have a rush hour in Cumbria? Well, I suppose all the sheep are moving fields or having a roam over the fells. A county of such change and contrast. The beautiful lakes, over-visited albeit, and then the working towns like Workington and Whitehaven, and the nuclear industry. Seems to be a lot of police speed camera vans going out, being deployed. The motorway in the section coming up to Penrith is down to 40 miles an hour. I wonder if we'll see any of the RAF jets zooming overhead as they practice those low-level procedures over Cumbria. Soaring down the valleys. When I grew up, jets were just coming into their own really, and there weren't the sort of restrictions on flying at great speed, and you'd regularly get the sonic booms as the lorries would travel down the English Channel. Or the Jenkinsons. Cool. Out of all the traffic there, this is the only thing that pulled away. Just moved a few feet round to accommodate the sun's movement.